It doesn't take much to see that Taiwan's hotel, food, and beverage scene is pretty packed. In this week's edition of Taiwan Talk, I speak with several relative newcomers about what it takes to stand out and be noticed. And I begin with Dennis Lobenstein of Capella Taipei, which recently won a nod from the Michelin Guides.
We opened a beautiful modern mansion right in the heart of the Mingchen community, close to Dongfang North Road, so at the entrance to Taipei, right? I think we have been able to establish here a luxury travel destination, which shows that we want to embrace local culture and heritage. We want to embrace Taiwan as a destination because I think it deserves the spotlight of so much more than what is currently portrayed outside in the world. So I think Taiwan has so much cultural heritage, has such a great strong art scene, and has a lot of really passion businesses here, which have not been able to maybe shine abroad. And actually, Capella Taipei wants to help to put a bit of spotlight on them and wants to see how we can build meaningful collaborations and partnerships with local artisans, like we have now done for the festive season with Ariel Chi, where we have created the whole entire collateral and art exhibition in the hotel, showcasing the black-head spoonbill, a bird which comes back to Taiwan to overwinter here, to stay in the season, because this bird takes Taiwan as his home. So, and I think this should be also a meaning for the tourists who are coming here. I think predominantly for Taiwan, we have, of course, a huge influx of Japanese and Korean tourists who are coming because it's just the proximity. We have guests coming for business out of Hong Kong. But there are so many flights to Hong Kong that they actually choose in the past to go back on the same day. So in the morning in, the evening out. So I think what we're seeing is also over the past months that a lot of guests who come from Hong Kong now seeing with Capella Taipei actually a reason to stay over. You want to spend another night, right? Spend a night here in this beautiful destination where you can explore so much more. And they're coming back with their families. So they came for business and now they're discovering, I think we can open a little bit of a window, a canvas for tourists out of the closer proximity, when we talk about Southeast Asia as well, Singapore and Bangkok, who can come here to really take more than night markets in Taipei 101, which are iconic. But I think we can show so much more depth of what is available. Please come to Taiwan, come to Taipei, stay over for 2 nights before you're going to go on your famous travels to Japan, or you're going to be currently in Hong Kong. Why you don't come over and spend another 2 hours night, that we can really put the spotlight here on the great cultural scene, which is, we have amazing restaurants. We have 46 Michelin restaurants here in Taipei. This is more than Hamburg in Germany has, or other destinations in other cities in the world, right? I think we can be very proud of what we have here. We just need to also take this confidence to showcase this. And this is where Capella wants to help, right? We want to build a stage for these artisans, for these partners, for the collaborators we are working with to do more and encourage them also to continue this journey, right? We're collaborating with various, not just with artists with Ariel Chi, but we're working also with other partners from Zesty who are making our kombuchas. We have special coffee roasters with Simple Kaffa who are working with us. We have great partners with Janjan in Dadochen who are making special canvas bags and special decorations. So there's a lot of partners and collaborators which we have been now working with over the past 1 year since I'm here, which is very rewarding because we give them a reason, to stay in business and continue what they have started. At the same time, I think it shows also what we can still all do here versus in many other places in the world, it's all purchased in, it's not anymore made. So I think we have an opportunity with Capella Taipei and the strong community we have to actually maybe define what is made in Taiwan 2.0, right? What is made in Taiwan today? And I think I hope that we have just started this journey, and I think there is so much more bright uprise to come for us. And I think if we're going now into promoting more the stay over destination and not just the stopover destination, I think there's opportunities for, in general, to lift up Taiwan really on the world map for travelers. And seeing the announcement in Condé Nast about, the long-awaited luxury hotel entry of Capella Taipei for Taiwan, seeing in Travel and Leisure, that Taiwan is one of the top destinations to visit, and Taiwan is one of the most friendliest countries you would like to visit. I think all this helps to bring more spotlight to us, and I'm very excited about that.
Okay, I remember now recently that the hotel was named one of the Michelin hotels. What did it take to become put on that list for you and for the staff?
I think that it takes a dedication of the colleagues. It takes a dedication to service because actually service is our product. Our product are not rooms, it's not food and beverage, it's not service is our product. So it is a reward for the team what they have done. I think the passion, the attention to detail, um, and the approach about really personalizing the guest experience and going beyond just a check-in, a checkout, and a stay. It's really about what experiences we gonna create for the guests that they feel home away from home in a destination. If this is awarded by the Mission Guide in the first few months already with one key, I think I'm very proud for the team, and I think it's also great encouragement to continue this. For Ray Yen of Smith and Wollensky, it's about building staff loyalty, which in turn can guarantee consistent service and a solid guest experience.
Most restaurants, they just do automatic 10% service charge. They just add that to your bill, and 95% of the restaurant staff don't see a cent of it. And I think it's almost, to me, that's a scam. So we're a little bit different. I kind of combined that with a little bit of tip culture from the US. So instead of kind of imposing that 10%, we let the customers choose whether they want to pay it or not. They could choose 0%, 5%, 10%, 20%. I've actually seen customers double in the bill at our bar. So, and then we actually distribute it to every single staff in the restaurant. So each position has a point. Busser 1 point, front runner 2, server 3, captains, whatever, and then we'll divide that up and then distribute it every month, and then we'll distribute 50% of it every month, and then the other 50% we save it and then distribute it as a year-end bonus in addition to our 13th month. So I think that's a great incentive for our staff to stay, and that makes our place different. Customers don't have to pay it, but I think a lot of customers don't understand that we actually have this system. We actually do give our staff, all the service charge, and I wish all the other restaurants will do the same.
And for Mirko Picerno of Nice Cream, building a brand means clarity and staying true to his vision.
Setting up a new brand in Taiwan is exciting, but it also can be very tough. Taiwan is an incredibly dynamic market. Consumers here are curious and open to try new things, which is a huge advantage. But at the same time, that means there is a constant competition. New cafe, dessert, brand, food concept, and lifestyle. So yes, it can feel overcrowded. What I learned very quickly is that being good is not enough. Having a decent product, nice packaging, operating Instagram is not enough anymore because many businesses already do that well. You need clarity. You need to know exactly who you are, why you exist, and why someone should remember you after seeing 100 other options that week. Taiwanese customers are smart. They notice details, they notice quality, consistency, authenticity, and whether a brand actually means something or it's just copying trends. So for me, building a brand here was less about asking, how do I compete with everyone? And more about asking, what can only we do? What emotional connection can we create? What experience can people talk about after they leave? The market might be crowded, but attention is still available for brands that feel real. Overcrowded market usually eliminate weak ideas quickly, but they also reward strong identity very fast. So I don't see crowded market as a bad things anymore. I see them as a filter. With Nice Cream, we understood early that we were not just selling ice cream. We were selling a feeling, right? Anyone can sell dessert, anyone can mix flavor, anyone can copy products. But story is much harder to copy. So we focus on building a brand people could connect with emotionally. First, we made the brand playful, optimistic, positive. The name itself feels positive, right? It's simple, friendly, and easy to remember. In a world where many brands try too hard to sound complicated or luxurious, sometimes simple wins. Second, we focus on experience. We wanted people to smile when they saw the product, when they entered the space, when they post it on IG or Facebook or TikTok, and when they test it. Every touch point matters to us. Third, we stay visually consistent. Color, tone, packaging, photos, store feeling. All this should instantly feel like an ice cream. Recognition builds trust. Fourth, we made sure the quality back up the branding. A great logo cannot save a weak product. If the first bite disappoints, the story ends there. And finally, we try to be human, which is the most important part to me. The biggest mistake I will warn people against is this. Do not build for other people's approval. Too many founders start by asking, what will people like? What trend is popular? What are the competitors doing? What will look successful online? And when you build that way, you create something reactive instead of original. You end up chasing trends, copying others, changing direction too often, and losing identity before you even start, you even begin. So when you're starting from zero, your biggest asset is not the money, it's conviction, it's vision. You need a clear point of view, you need standards, you need patience. Because in the beginning, many people won't understand what you're building, some will dub it, some will ignore it, some will compare you to others. It happens to me many times. That's normal. If you keep adjusting every week based on outside noise, you never give your real idea time to grow. Listen to feedback, yes. Study the market, yes. Adapt when necessary, yes. But don't outsource your vision. Build something real enough that the right people recognize it. That matters more than trying to impress everyone. Building in Taiwan taught me that crowded markets are not the enemy. Confusion is the enemy. If your product is clear, your story is real, and your execution is consistent, there is always room for another great brand.
You were listening to Dennis Lobenstein, Ray Yen, and Mirko Pacherno share their tips on how their brands made their mark in Taipei. I'm Hope Ngo. You can catch this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in.